Talent Talks. I'm here today with Kathy Mayfield, and she sits in the seat of Integrator for a wonderful company called Traction Tools. We are so thankful at Titus Talent for the last 8 years of running our business on the Entrepreneurial Operating System, or EOS. And the Traction Tools is a company that supported and helped like hundreds, if not thousands, of EOS run companies to put a system in place and tools in place to help them with the efficiency of how they run the business. I won't say too much here. We just get to have the privilege of using this technology, and we couldn't live without it. It's like when you think of companies out there that you just can't live without. Amazon is one for me. I don't know how we live without Amazon. Traction Tools is the company within our business that if that left today, we are in trouble. So it is a privilege to have Kathy Mayfield here today. We have no plan other than just to have fun, riff together, talking about talent, talking about people, talking about just transparency and the right person in the right seat. And before I hit record here, we were already getting into some things around clarity of vision, family vision, running your company versus running your family. It has been fun. So, Kathy, give us a little bit of a background on you.
Always fun, Jonathan. Thank you. Traction Tools are productivity tools. We bring the EOS tools online in digital format. Everything from your level 10 meeting to your accountability chart to people tools to your VTO, all in one place to help leadership teams and employees, middle managers gain productivity and accountability within their business. And we are passionate about EOS, more passionate about transparency, but passionate about EOS and helping companies thrive in a time of what in the world could be viewed as chaos.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, it's been an interesting year.
Interesting ride, right? Interesting 2020.
Yes, it has been. And I think one of the, I won't go into kind of an EOS spiel, but I remember right at the beginning of this pandemic and shutdown and companies saying, you know, let's just put everything on hold, and kind of went to the screeching halt. We were due to have our leadership teams quarterly, where we review the previous quarter and start setting our clear rocks and clarity for the next quarter. And I literally said to my integrator, I said, I know it's due next week. Should we cancel that just because of everything that's going on? And he said, absolutely not. It's times like these, we must have our quarterly. It's for this purpose. And I was so thankful that that when there's a, not that we had an impasse, but I sit in the visionary seat. Scott Seafeld sits in the integrator seat for us. And he said, no, we're doing it. You better be there. And I said, okay, I'll be there. And we had two wonderful days of bringing absolute clarity, clear vision and focus for what the next 90 days look like. Tell us a little bit about how, well, you just talked about even in your personal world, that it is spilled over into running your life. I mean, I won't go down the shiny object trail, which is very, very easy for me in the seat that I sit in. I get very excited about new and exciting new things. But tell me about sort of how long have you been with Traction Tools, a little bit about some of the things that you have going on and how you run your business using Traction Tools.
Okay, well, I've been with Traction Tools since the inception. I was pre-revenue, sat down with two of the owners and was the feet behind their crazy visionary ideas. I was the one putting the execution into their vision. It was a lot of fun working with two really brilliant visionaries, one a developer and the other one an EOS implementer. And we had this crazy idea of bringing things online to help companies run their EOS journey. And here we sit today, 5 years later. I did that job for free because I was so passionate about it. And here I am 5 years later, sitting in the integrator seat, building pre-revenue, went from pre-revenue to profitable in a good amount of time and built the entire team. All the while using this radical transparency in our culture. I use it in my personal life. I use EOS and I use the principles in my personal life. We run a house flipping operation. And so I flip houses and I use it to manage contractors, and I use Traction Tools to manage my to-dos and my issues and Excel spreadsheets to run financials. But it's been a blast. It has taken everything and brought it all in one place. Not only do I get to live the dream, but I get to meet amazing people. This community, through our clients and our partners and our connections through this amazing entrepreneurial community, I meet some amazing people. And so I have just built a network of what I consider family. My friends are very close to me, and so I consider all of our partners family and part of our Traction Tools family. Jonathan and Titus Talent, you happen to be one of them. And
Woo!
so I'm very grateful for the relationship with Titus Talent. Without Titus Talent and this hiring for performance, predictive index, having the team really help us hone what it is that we want, and then helping the candidates really hone and refine what they're looking for. We have hired, I want to say 7 or 8 people using the team at Titus Talent.
That's great. That's good. Encouraging to hear. That's really
the culture, like between the companies, we get each other's culture. They understand what it is to run an EOS company. And so they know how to source candidates that kind of get us and get the concepts of what we're all about in this journey. And so we have had so much fun. I don't even look at this as work. I get up every day and I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to go to this amazing sandbox with really cool people. And I just happen to make a paycheck. Like, oh my gosh, how fun is this? So that's who we are at Traction Tools. We are about opportunities for all, abundant minded. We want to help our clients. Like we truly are about helping them get everything that they want to not only have their businesses survive, but thrive. That visionaries and leadership teams get everything that they want out of life. And bringing tools online as a SaaS business, it is some of the most efficient ways that we know how to help people. They're not shuffling paper. They're not sending around some Google Doc. They're not like in Excel nightmare trying to update things. And it's all in one place. And we've seen companies time over time come to us and say, I would be lost. Just like you said, Jonathan, we'd be lost. If we went away, we'd be lost. What would we do? And I'm telling you, if we went away, we would find a way. Because we just want to help everybody find a way to win. We are passionate about optimization. So helping companies find the most efficient ways to do things. How can we run an EOS meeting at level 10 better? How can we keep that BTO right at the fingertips of everybody? How can we keep our scorecard front and center for everybody so they know what the critical numbers of the business are? That's what we're passionate about.
Oh, so good. Loads of rich gems in there. Number one, I love the fact that you work for free. I got excited for a second. I thought, man, if I could recruit Kathy to join our team, it'd be great. Volunteer workers.
You know what's really funny is somebody at Titus Talent actually helped me with my worth.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
Thanks, Mike Kinsey.
It's yeah, exactly. Well, I think we have about 800 plus clients. We call them partners because we're an extension of them and we partner. When it comes to talent and getting the right person in the right seat, our passion has been working with EOS run companies. It's been a real joy for us, partly because there's such an understanding of one of the major components is process and another major component is people. And we found a lot of EOS run companies struggling to apply process to the people component. And so what we've built out is this whole literally a written down proven process that's followed by all when it comes to getting the right person in the right seat and then keeping them there or developing them and advancing them in the organization. And so real synergy with Traction Tools specifically. You're 100% remote or mobile. Everybody works from home and has done for a long, long time. We're the same. We're 100% remote and we call it mobile, meaning our people can work from wherever, whenever. Some say it's semantics. We don't say remote because that sounds like isolation. So we say mobile. No, you're not isolated. Come and visit. Come and work in the same proximity if you need the social interaction. But we talk about the head, the heart, and the briefcase when it comes to hiring. And the briefcase is what does a person need to do, achieve, or accomplish to be considered successful? And do they have those resources in their briefcase? That's about a third of the equation. The other third is the the heart, which is core values or value alignment, and putting a measurement and a scorecard around those. And then there's the head, which, as you know, Kathy, is behaviors and cognitive. And we happen to use the predictive index for that, which we've, I know you guys are all in on that. We've implemented that with Traction tools. So tell me a little bit about that journey for you of the head, the heart, the briefcase in all of your hiring, because we don't do all of your hiring. You have referrals and you do your own resources as well and sources. But tell me a little about how you've applied head, heart, briefcase into your written down, proven process when it comes to hiring.
It's been an evolution, to be honest. We started with the heart, thinking, wow, if we had the right person, like, and we just had this like team of friends, because everybody loves to work with their friends, nobody had quit, that we would have all the right people. And so that seemed to be true for a while when we were small. And we could take, you know, some people and they were the right people and they kind of got what we were about. And when we were a startup and, you know, the early days, it was fine. And then I would be able to coach them along. But then as the company grew, I realized like, oh my gosh, like actually like hiring for performance and skill sets and making sure that they have the ability and the cognitive ability for the long haul to get it, that was a game changer. And then our caliber of candidate came. So we laid a foundation with culture and we laid a foundation with our process and like making sure that actually everybody could come on and engage with us in the same way. But then we started to realize that not everybody got the mentality of growth. And what does it look like to grow from pre-revenue to profitable in so short a time? And so we really had to engage somebody that could help us understand how to kind of take all of it, the cognitive ability with the heart and the culture, along with the technical ability to actually do the job that's required. And so our proven process is we go through this lengthy interview process with this understanding that there is going to be some radical transparency, and we lay the expectation in the very beginning. Hey, we just want to let you know that our hiring process, we're going to get to the bones of it. Like, we want you to interview us. We want to interview you. I want us to create a partnership right now in this process. And they're like, what? Like, wait a minute, you're already talking about partnership? I said, yeah, because we invest. Like, this is an investment, and we want to build a team that are in it, that get it, what we're doing. Like, they're all about like, yep, I understand what it means to be in startup mode. We're agile, we're pivoting fast, we're experimenting quickly. What does it mean to like want to do the job? Like, do you really want to do this job? Like, I know you want to do it today because you want to make a paycheck, but are you passionate about this thing? And then when I'm sharing about my passions and why I get up in the morning, and I share our passion statement, like to help companies be the most productive things that they could do. Like, we are all about productivity. Do you want to do that? Are you about that? Like, does that get you jazzed in the morning? Are you going to hit, your feet are going to hit the ground and you're going to be like, yep, I want to help everybody like be better. I want to create a world through empowerment and inspiration that people are productive and companies are productive. And they're like, yep. And then I'm like, okay, do you really like, you know, do you really have the capacity? Like, we interview a lot of people and like, oh no, I got this side thing going. I got this going. I'm, you know, raising kids. I'm doing this. I'm traveling the world. I'm like, okay, do you really have the capacity to like do this thing full time? And they're like, no. And I said, because we do have part-time or contractor options available. And they're like, oh, well, I never even considered that. So I think bringing that conversation to the interview, and then we put people through this rigorous interview process, not only through culture, technical assessment, everybody provides a work sample, and what is your work product? Like, is the rubber meeting the road? We give them a work sample, we show them what we're about. Developers come in and they get to see our code. Is this what you're up to? They hear from the visionary, this is where we're going. Are you sure you're up to that? They have this extensive interview process. They go through a work sample, and then we ask them to do predictive index. And then by that time, you could tell the people that aren't really like getting us. Like they don't get our vibe. They don't get it. They're like, man, you guys are really weird. And we've had a lot of people tell us, wow, you're really strange. Like, is this really necessary? And I'm like, it is. And if you are not up for the process, it really just lets me know maybe you're not a right fit. Are you sure? Like, and we're all about this. And then we tell them, you know, everybody that comes on is on, you know, 90-day, you know, figure it out time. You get to figure it out for us. We get to figure it out for you. No hard feelings. You get to, like, we want you to say, man, is this what I'm in for? Because we're going to make an investment in you. We're going to invest in you professionally. We're going to invest in you personally. We're going to invest in you, you know, all across the board. Is this what you're up to? And then we have a very low attrition. Everybody that we want in the company is still here today.
Oh, I love it. I love that you've got process and that you're following a process when it comes to your hiring. As I sit in the visionary seat, I would violate process all the time if I could, but I'm thankful that I have to submit to the process. It's easy, especially for visionary minded folk, to be kind of, we call the gladiator hiring, thumbs up, thumbs down, kind of fit, not a fit. And it's a hide behind, I like you or I don't like you, or I think you're going to fit within our culture. And I get that, but you cannot figure those things out in a matter of minutes. It is a process and a scorecard assessment to figure out GWC, make sure the head, heart, briefcase there. We hear it all the time saying, we hire for culture. And I'm like, really, that's what you hire for? Like hiring for culture, or you hire for performance? Because you could get a whole bunch of culture fits who don't perform.
This is what we noticed early on.
Yes.
So I'm looking back, you know, so I look back and I'm like, okay, so the people that I hired very early on for culture, as we grew, didn't have the technical ability to keep up with us. And we ended up parting ways. And so it was a very valuable lesson, because attrition for a startup is expensive. We invest quite a bit. And I have to say that everyone that we've hired using Titus Talent, coaching, through predictive index, through the sourcing, through the we have retained all of them.
Oh, it's great. I need to pay you for this. This is so good.
But there is something about your team and about the way that that process marries our process. And it becomes this partnership of not only hiring, like you said, for culture, but we didn't really hire for culture either. We were trying to find cultural fits, but ultimately we are hiring for performance and retaining for performance.
I think you hit it really hard there. I think one of the things that we found is taking the accountability chart and the top 5 for the role, and putting really clear performance measurements around those, and how will you measure it? So if the person's, let's say, hiring somebody in sales, we need somebody to bring in $1 million in revenue, in new business revenue this year. How will you measure that? Obviously, you know, you're going to see from the financials, but being really, really clear what needs to be done in the first 90 days that's going to show whether that person's on track or off track, and what kind of activity and what kind of results can we expect to see. Because if you actually put that in we call the performance profile, not job description, but performance profile, if we're really clear on that, A, we know how to interview, B, we can actually post-interview, we can onboard them really well, and C, we can actually do performance management, whether you're remote or in person. So clarity around what success is defined as for your company culture, it really, really helps if you actually put that in the beginning. A lot of companies will dig out some old job description from HR that they posted and prayed about years ago and say, yes, slap that online and see how many people apply. Well, that's not how A players make career moves, applying to jobs, typically speaking. And if they're applying to your lame job description, they're probably running from something, not running to something. So hiring A players, you have to get inside the psyche of an A player. They don't make career moves like B's and C's. So I love that we've had to hear some of those stats for you, Kathy, that you've retained all of the people we brought, 7 to however many people it is. You've retained them all. Clearly they're hitting their performance objectives, or you wouldn't keep them around. I know that.
They are.
But that's what success is defined as: the goal or performance being met, not purely that they fit and that you can go to happy hour together. That's not why we hire people.
There was an interesting, so one of our early hires, between the marriage of Titus Talent and your process for hiring for performance and EOS Delegate and Elevate, we found the right person, super smart. Gee, like we just are so grateful to have this person as part of our team. But then we introduced Delegate and Elevate. And she kind of went through this whole process of Delegate and Elevate and came and said, you know what? I've been doing this marketing thing my whole career. She says, however, you shared with me this awesome tool where I got to really sit down, and through a clarity break and through Delegate and Elevate, she realized like, okay, I'm really good at marketing, but I'm not passionate about marketing. And I said, interesting. I said, this is really interesting. And so she asked if there was another role. She said, I would like to transition to this other role. It might look like me creating my own job here, but is this a possibility? And I said, anything is a possibility for the right person, right? So everything is on the table for the right person. And so she put a whole business case together, and I was like, oh my goodness, yes, that is totally missing in the business. We could actually make that a reality for you, and it wouldn't even require a pay decrease, a pay cut. And she's like, oh my gosh, and she's thriving. She's totally thriving. And so by having this transparency and this openness of communication where she can come and say, hey, I use the tools that you brought to me. I really don't think this is working. I understand if there's not a role for me based on our own culture of how we are running as business, but if there is, this is what I propose. And we were able to find a way for everybody to win. And not only is she bringing more value to the job, doing what she's really passionate about and working above the bar, but we were able to put somebody else from Titus Talent in that role that's actually thriving and doing better than the first hire did. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is a win-win all around. So there is something about the tools that we have available, hiring the right people, getting those A players on board that are cultural fits, that we know, okay, this person wants to help the organization, our core values. We love helping. Like we are going to go out of our way to help people because we just love to do it. It is our first and number one core value because we are all passionate about doing that thing.
I love it.
And we're all optimizers. Like we just want to find the most efficient way to do things.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love it.
And everybody finds a way to win. We all get to find a way to win. And so it might not be my way. It might not be the best way, but it's going to be a way where we get buy-in from everyone. And so the transparency and the radical conversations that go into not only our hiring, but our retention and our quarterly conversations and our annual reviews and those 90-day check-ins when we're all deciding, okay, are we in? And we literally put our hands in. We're on a Zoom and we're like, okay, I'm in. And everybody's like doing the baseball thing. Yep, I'm in. Okay, what does a roadmap look like? Okay, that was the first 90 days. What do the next 90 to 180 days look like for you? Where do you want to go? Okay, you came in and you said, hey, I want to do this, this, and this. How are we going to help you get there? And so conversations happen all the time. And so
that's brilliant.
We're really grateful that not only does the process with like hiring for the performance and that whole thing through predictive index and the heart, head, and soul all go, right? But the conversation that there's a trust that's built early on that everybody gets it. Yep, I'm going to get to, I'm going to get to come. They say, hey, they have an open door policy. We say, no, we do not. We have a no door policy. You can come to anyone at any time and share anything.
And at home, we're all welcoming everyone to our home, aren't we? Because we're all doing
I know,
Zoom
with
thing.
a mask maybe and coronavirus. But, yeah.
I love it. Brilliant stuff. Really brilliant. Well, Kathy, we're going to see you in April at the EOS conference in Houston. We just nabbed the premium sponsor spots, so signed on for that, which we're very excited about that. I think we're working with about 150 implementers now, Titus is. Which singing your praises all the time. Every time we work with a new EOS run company, we say, what technology are you using to manage all of this? And they say, what technology? And we tell them, how great traction tools have been for us. But if there was one message that you could share with the implementer community that you don't think they may not know, they may not know already, what's one thing you would want to share with them?
We want to help you make your business better. We want to help you grow your business. We want to get the world out. Boats rise in high tide, right? And we want to grow the pie. We want to introduce self-implementing companies to implementers. We want implementers to, really shine as the thought leaders and the educators as EOS. And tools are just a resource for them. Traction Tools is a resource for them to help their clients gain insight into the client so they can facilitate and coach better. And that's what I want to be. Like, if I could do one thing for you, it would be make your life easier.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds like good news. Well, we have really, really thoroughly enjoyed working with Traction Tools, using the tool, working with your team, and growing as you grow, and excited about the future because you guys are constantly developing. I know that not only because I get to use the tool, but we've also been hiring people to help you develop, which is great too. Yeah, but thank you for taking the time today. Thank you for joining Talent Talks with Titus. And really appreciate for those who are listening on Spotify, on iTunes podcast, or on YouTube, or any of our channels. But we really do appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining today, Kathy Mayfield of Traction Tools.
Thanks, Jonathan.